Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All the way in the back, you guys hear me? Okay, over there on the left, Mr. Red Jacket, you hear me? All the way in the back? How are you guys doing? All right. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. All praise is due to Allah, who is magnificent in His essence, perfect in His attributes, undeniable in His presence. All praise is due to Allah, who has the most magnificent names, a praise that is forever due to Him, a praise that eternally remains. May He send peace and blessings in their most perfect fashion. May He send greetings and salutations that are complete and everlasting upon the best of His creation. Who's that? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May He perfect His rank and elevate His station, because He taught us what we did not know. And He gave, and He gave, and He gave, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because He loved us so. Welcome to the grand opening today. This is my first time coming to Toledo, Ohio, and mashallah, for what I've seen from the community, it is very, very, truly inspiring. A center like this for the youth, run by the youth. In Europe, we call that FUBU, for us, by us. I'm going to make a lot of jokes, you may not understand them, but just assume that they're funny and laugh, even if you don't understand it. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you today, first of all, the first thing that I like to do when I come to a new city is I like to just find out where everybody's from. Okay? I like to just find out where everybody's from. So, feel free to just shout out where you're from. Libya. Libya. Egypt is usually first. Yeah, the Egyptians usually, they don't wait. Even if you don't tell them, they say, I'm from Egypt. But today, Libya beats you guys.
I am from Egypt.
Today we had some lazy Egyptians, and Libya won. Wow, but how many Libyans do we have today?
Two.
No, we got a lot, mashallah. You didn't even know there were more Libyans. Wow, we found a lost Libyan over here. Introduce yourselves to them, okay? Excellent. We have Egypt. How many people here are from Egypt? MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar. Egyptians, they always have a hard time because everybody else is like, people were saying boo just now. But Egyptians, MashaAllah, of course, you know what I love about Egyptians? I'm from New York, and New York has 5 boroughs, and one borough is very, very proud, Brooklyn. Yeah, if you go anywhere across the world, and you ask a person where are they from, they'll say, I'm from Brooklyn. And they won't even say I'm from the United States of America, they'll say I'm from Brooklyn. Egyptians are exactly like that. Even if they've never been to Egypt, they'll say I'm from Egypt. Even if they're a quarter Egyptian, they had a grandfather who's Egyptian, they'll say I'm Egyptian. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So what else do we have? Tunisia. How many Tunisians do we have?
I'm the only one.
Oh, MashaAllah. You know what? I was actually surprised when I heard Tunisian, because I was like, I've never come across a Tunisian, MashaAllah. Okay, so he's very, very rare. You've got yourselves a rare gem. Take care of him. What else do we have? Jordan?
Jordan, Palestine, Syria.
Whoa, whoa, hold on a second. Let's go country by country. Jordan.
Jordan.
All right.
Trinidad.
Jordan. Jordan, mashallah, the people of Jordan are very quiet. They raise their hand very quietly. What about Palestine? Not so quiet, right? MashaAllah. Even clapping for themselves. Even clapping for themselves. Okay? What about Syria? Okay, MashaAllah, Syria. Nice. What else? What am I missing? Lebanon. Okay, Lebanon. What else? What is this, just an Arab party today? Morocco. Just one?
India.
Okay, we got another Moroccan over there. India. Ahlan. Like you shouted out India and then you hit your hand. You didn't want anybody to know. Sudan. Sudan, right? See how everybody else was clapping for you? That's the way that it is when you're Sudanese. MashaAllah. What else? I heard Trinidad. Father and son? MashaAllah. Oh, the rest of the Trinidadian family over there. Okay, great.
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Zindabad. Pakistan. Excellent. All right, I think we got everybody. Ethiopia. Ethiopia and Somalia, mashallah. You guys are okay with each other. Mashallah. Okay. What else? China? Algeria. Yeah, Algeria. What? America. Everybody else who didn't clap or buy the citizenship. Inshallah. Inshallah, we'll get the naturalization process going. What's that? Michigan. That's not a country, but it's okay. Okay. All right, let me see what I can do. Algeria is my hometown. Jerusalem is my heart. I flash a Syrian smile. I've been Egyptian from the start. My kindness comes from Pakistan. My style is Sudanese. Ethiopia and Somalia join two continents at my knees. What else do we have? A Lebanese mind, Libyan legs, Arabian disposition, Moroccan passion, Lebanese fashion, and Tunisian precision. Wherever Allah is worshipped are my people, I conclude. English esteem, French cuisine, American attitude. I've got history in Spanish soils and Malian sand, a future shining from Khorasan. My present is where I stand. My eyes peer from Kashmir towards, oh, you're from Kashmir also, India? Okay. My eyes peer from Kashmir towards a Malaysian rising sun. My body is indivisible. I am an ummah of one. All right. Okay, let me show you guys how to clap when we're doing poetry. Does anybody know how poets clap? So in America we do this. All right? And if you're Egyptian, you can say, Allah, Allah. Allah, Allah. Allah ta'ala, you know what I mean? You can do that. So one of those two. So the finger snapping. Try it out, Just try it out. It's okay. All right. Okay. So this, the topic, subhanAllah, of youth, and I loved what he mentioned about allowing the youth to make mistakes. I love that because in so many, where I come from, the East Coast, when the youth makes mistakes, they bring the army on him. They try to kick him, expel him, get rid of them, you know, because they can't handle people's mistakes, and young people, of course, are going to make mistakes. And what we love about the Prophet ﷺ is he allowed for people to make mistakes. Usama ibn Zayd killed a man on the battlefield. He said, La ilaha illallah, and Usama was like, no, you're lying, and he killed him. And killing is huge. It doesn't get much bigger than killing. And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, did you cut open his heart? But guess what? He still put Usama in charge of the last army that he sent out at 17 years old. He allowed him to make mistakes, he corrected him, and he still sent him out because of the goodness that was in him. So I love that concept. Please allow for your youth to make mistakes, but be there also. Be there, you have to be there, because they need guidance. They need your wisdom, they need your expertise, but don't put them to the side, and don't repel them because of the mistakes that they make. So the next poem that I wanted to recite is called Until I See You. Until I See You. And this poem is a letter that I wrote to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I always wanted to write him a letter, so I wrote him a letter. And the concept is that he says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one time, that I wish that I could see ahbabi, I wish that I could see my beloved. And the Sahaba, you know what they said? They said, aren't we your ahbab? And he said, no, you're my ashab. But who are my ahbab? A people who would believe in me and they never saw me. But they would wish that they could see me even if they gave up their wealth and their families. So we hope that Allah Azza wa Jalla allows us to see him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This poem is called Until I See You. Go ahead and press play. You are the best person I've ever known. The best friend I've never met. Your sincerity to me is blinding, enough to completely canvas the world with drapes that read respect, honor, love, protect, while creating a window for me to zoom in on the important things, but those things are the things that I forget or neglect. I will do better. Your ummah is fine, not because of me or mine or wounds that heal with time or those who would die for a dollar sign, but because the promise is divine. So when we feel like we're at our worst and our sadness would cause our hearts to burst, it feels like there are times when there are angels within our lines, or hovering over squares with chants of freedom in the air, and though tyrants may step on our necks, we smile. For history has always been on our side. Yours is an ummah that simply does not die. I am sorry for my weakness. For every time I've been ashamed of your name and asked someone to call me Mo, for not knowing enough about you to defend you when they drew cartoons or made movies or accused you with the most heinous of accusations, for not getting over my distaste of reading and waiting for Hollywood to put you on the big screen so I could know something about you. As if Steven Spielberg or Mel Gibson or Johnny Depp would somehow be able to recreate the twinkle in your eye, or a beautiful bead of sweat as it scaffolds on your forehead, frantically fighting gravity, not wanting to fall off your body. I keep thinking of seeing you. And if you would smile at me, the thought gives me goosebumps. You told me to meet you at the pool. So on that day, I hope and pray that I will see you through the crowd, that no angels barricade me as I sprint at breakneck speed. I hope you recognize it's me. I will crowd the companions to get access to your vision. I will obey my thirst by quenching it from your hand. So until that day, I will pray. I will stand and I will pray as if my feet are holding the earth from splitting. If I make it, I cry at the thought of seeing you. For I know the words that I used to read from books with all too thin pages will do no justice to your voice, your face, your scent, your touch. You see, my messenger of Allah has always existed between the curves and dots of the Arabic alphabet. So Muhammad ibn Abdullah, in 3D, and whatever other dimensions the hereafter brings with it will be an overboard of senses. I will fall in love with your shadow. I will tell Ali that his description did not do justice. Tell my mother Aisha how we heard her story of how you passed away between her chin and her chest, over and over and over again, and it made us cry every single time. For we never suffered any disaster that was greater than what we suffered before our souls merged with flesh, entering an earth that was without you. Does the sky even recognize us anymore? And I will sit in the shade of your smile and will ask you your story directly from your mouth as we sip on salsabil ice cold, and will be terribly embarrassed if you ask me for mine. Because I never did anything right other than loving you. And then, if you let me, I would love for a hug. That's it. Oh my goodness. Come on, we just went over this. Allah, Allah. MashaAllah, you guys have a good sense of humor. You have to when you live in Ohio. No, I'm just kidding. I'm working on it. I have a very bad, anyway. The next piece that I wanted to do is called A Night's Prayer. It's about salah. It's actually about dua. I translated most of the Diwan of Imam Al-Shukry, and he has a verse where he says, أَتَهْزَوْ بِالدُّعَاءُ وَتَزْدَرِيهِ وَمَا تَدْرِي بِمَا صَنَعَ الدُّعَاءُ سِهَامُ اللَّيْلِ لَا تُخْطِئُ وَلَكِنْ لَهَا أَمَدٌ وَلِلْأَمَدِ انْقِضَاءُ. He says, do you discount dua and you belittle it, and you don't understand what the prayer accomplishes? The arrows of the night do not miss their target, but they have a span, and the span soon finishes. So this is called a night's prayer. He stands. He stands because he must. He stands with two hands clasped over his heart lest it bust or burst. With a variety of emotions, calm, fear, courage, the need to fulfill his trust. It weighs on his shoulders, so he stands. His feet sinking in the carpet, in a small room, in a seemingly smaller apartment, enveloped by the darkness. But his eyes are familiar with the night, so he sees the dancing of the shadows clearly. And he recites verses he loves dearly. قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير. O Allah, the owner of all kingdoms, you give power and dominion to whom you will, and you take it away from whom you will, and you honor whom you will, and you debase whom you will. In your hand is all good, you are able to do all things. And he bows with such ease that it would cause some to be deceived, for his shoulders so easily moved, but that same back absolutely refused to bow to anyone other than the one whose words he just recited. And so he rises. His body camouflaged, it matches the stillness in the air. His lips move softly, tongue swiftly, none heart aware. None can give what you withhold, and none can withhold what you give. He is without arms. So he raises his arms by his sides and he begins the conversation again and again. He confides, hands towards the sky again and again. He cries, Ya Rabb, رحماك بأهلنا في ليبيا ومصر والسودان وسوريا وبangladesh وميانمار وفلسطين. Entire nations on his mind. They will not be harmed, not from his side. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين المنكوبين في كل مكان. اللهم ثبت الأرض من تحت أقدامهم. اللهم عليك بأعدائك وأعدائهم. اللهم زلزل عروش الطواغيت الظالمين وأذن بفرج قريب لعبادك الموحدين واشف صدور قوم مؤمنين. They are far from him, but in his heart and mind they are by his side. They are his joy and pride, and they will not be harmed, not from his side. And so he stands, as he has stood 5 times a day or sometime near the end of the night, with his hands above his heart lest it burst. As he recites, he cries out, calling for divine assistance. He believes in angels. He knows they arrive in an instant, so he implores their arrival. And he falls. He falls so that a nation can rise. He falls, facilitating a tyrant's demise. Into the sweetness of prostration he falls, begging forgiveness for any transgression that would impede the journey of the arrows that he is sending from his window to their target, from his small room in a seemingly smaller apartment, enveloped by the darkness. Allah. Allah, Allah. MashaAllah. Okay, so for the young people, I want to just let you know something before I do my last piece, inshallah. For the young people, I want to let you know something. When I did the Until I See You part, I mentioned whole Steven Spielberg and Mel Gibson and Johnny Depp and the movies about the Prophet ﷺ. And I think I was, when Brother Muhammad Abu Sami was telling me about all of the programs that was happening here, the one that got me the most excited was the theater club. And maybe you could say, because I do poetry, that would be the most exciting thing, but I really do believe that the arts has a huge effect on culture. We all know this. People, they listen to music all day. People, they watch movies all day. And we really, 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 as Muslims, need to step our game up when it comes to the arts. I know this is Doctor Town. I understand that. But, inshallah ta'ala, in the future, right, just as the first generation came and they established masjids, and now the next generations are establishing community centers, just like the first generations came and they did the doctor, engineer thing. Inshallah ta'ala, the next generations are also going to branch out into other fields that are just as needed, such as studying film, such as studying history, just like studying the production, and all of these things that we need that prove and move our stories forward. So if you were to ask any young people here? MashaAllah, all of you are young, right? All of you are young in heart. So if you were to ask a young person, okay, young person right there, Mr. Yellow Jacket, yes. Have you heard of Malcolm X? Did you watch the movie? Did you read the book by Alex Haley? Man, you're not helping me prove my point. You're from Michigan?
Come on, man.
What? You're from Michigan? MashaAllah. Did you read the book by Alex Haley?
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie?
No, I didn't know.
You watched the movie?
I watched it.
How many people have either watched the movie or read the book, Malcolm X? Okay, so okay, now wait, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. How many of you, if you read the book, put your hand down? Okay. If you watched the movie alone, then put your hand up. Okay, yeah, what's my point? My point is that you are always going to have more people who watch the movie than read the book. And Islamic history, you have an identity. I would argue that when you're talking about al-Hawiyya, or you're talking about identity, it comes from three things. First is your belief. What do you believe? We believe in Islam, we believe in Allah, we believe in Rasulullah, we believe in the Sharia, we believe in these things, and that governs our actions and our identity, number one. The second is your history. Where do you come from? And you guys all studied when they brought slaves over from Africa, what is the first thing that they did? Was they got rid of their history. They changed their last names. Because it's very easy for you to convince, it's very difficult for you to convince a slave they're a slave if they know that they are the son of Prince so-and-so. Or they're from this tribe, and they have this history and this richness. If they know that, you're not going to be able to convince them they're a slave. So they got rid of their histories. And it was easier to subdue them. So when you have generations who grew up here and they don't know their history, they don't know where they came from, they don't know anything about Morocco or anything about Jordan or Palestine or any of these places that you're talking about, they kind of just came out of thin air. As far as they're concerned, they were born here and they were born to parents who didn't really teach them that much about it. It helps them become subdued. When we're talking about identity crisis, that's one of the reasons why. They don't know where they came from, and so they want to be a part of something. Three is language. You guys see this every Ramadan, every masjid that you go to. It's iftar time, it's salat time. The people who speak French, the francophones, they go sit in one section of the masjid. The people who speak Urdu, they go and they sit in another section of the masjid. The people who speak Arabic, go and speak in another section of the masjid. And the people who speak Egyptian, they speak in another section of the masjid, right? Everybody else. Why? Because it's just easier. It's part of your identity. And the people who speak American English, right, they all sit, and that's why, you know, the generation of Americans who were born here and raised here, they mix with so many other ethnicities because they all speak English. It's fine for them. So language is a very important aspect of identity as well. However, our history is connected to our language. How the majority of information about Islamic history or the history of our countries that we came from, it's not in English. So you know what? You have to read al-Bidaya wal-Nihaya, you have to speak Arabic. It's not translated into English. Sir A'lam al-Nubala, that's in Arabic also. It's not translated into English. Where am I going to find this information about my history? That's why I believe the arts are important. It's kind of weird, right? But a lot of people, they watch movies about these things. So if I ask a person about Malcolm X, they probably watch the movie. If you ask someone about who William Wallace is, they probably watch Braveheart. If you ask them about Oscar Schindler, they probably watch Schindler's List. Right? But what about Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi? And what about Uqba ibn Nafi', who conquered North Africa, and then he came to the Atlantic Ocean and he said, if I knew that there was a land beyond this ocean, I would traverse it to call them to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. We have giants in our history, but they're buried in books, in other languages. So I believe that the arts has an important place in creating a Muslim identity. I hope that this theater club, inshallah, is supported and that we're able to create people who are very familiar with these mediums, inshallah ta'ala. Anyway, we come now to the last piece, which is Jenna. That's where we're trying to go, right? Jenna. So, oh, you don't need to turn off the lights, just keep it on. Actually, you can, I think you can just forget that. Just forget it, sorry. So this is called Jenna. I have a poem, it's on YouTube, we're gonna play it, but you can just search for it there. What I need from you right now, you can turn on the lights, but I just need for everybody to close their eyes. Just Just close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. You know what's funny? Every time I do this, no matter when, people still have their eyes open. And it's like, if your eyes are open, I can see that your eyes are open. Because I see the whiteness with the black dot in the middle, and that means that your eye is open. Just close your eyes. I will not take anything from your table. Play it. Close your eyes and imagine this. Eternal bliss. Your every wish at your fingertips and more. Perched on a throne, near a stream, so serene and exquisite a scene you've never seen yet, you still dream of more. Gone is pain, gone is fear, gone is grief, gone are tears, idle speech you shall never hear, and the prophets make up your social sphere, and more. The martyrs righteous and the truthful too, you are from them, they from you. They held tightly to what they knew was true, and to join them, you did too. There's more. Maidens chased who restrained their gaze, lost in a glance for days and days. Fun and frolic as a child plays, where the breath that leaves your lips is praise of the one who gave you more. Imagine you and your father, with ages the same. Imagine showing off your book with no shame. Imagine nights with the Sahaba, their stories to entertain. Now imagine Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, knowing your name. What could be there more? Gardens underneath which rivers flow. A goal so far, yet so close. A journey worth taking for those who know. Tell me, do you not wish to go for more? For all the bounties, all the grace, all the sights and the smells and the tastes will be forgotten without a trace, as if frozen in time and space when you see his face. What an excellent master of a miserable slave. You forgot, he forgave. They gave you guidance and you still strayed. You asked for mercy, that he gave, and more, and more, and more. Wake up. Everyone, I really appreciated bothering you guys. Thank you for indulging me.